Hello, this is Michael Tillinger, and I'd like to introduce everyone to Julia, one of our senior One Small Town management members, without whom we'd be really struggling to keep this movement going. So, Julia, first of all, thank you for everything you've done and your contributions so far. And
Oh, absolutely my pleasure.
well, you're an absolute star, and thank you for everything you're doing. The reason we're having this discussion is that Julia suggested that we start a regular recording, which we call Spotlight on a specific subject. So this is a new series. This is episode 1 of the One Small Town Spotlight series. And we're going to start this in episode 1, spotlighting the roles and responsibilities of One Small Town ambassadors. What do you do as an ambassador? What qualities does it take to be an ambassador? And when you get appointed as an ambassador, what are your roles and responsibilities? What do you do? Where do you start? So now that I've actually taken that from Julia, she was supposed to introduce that. So let's start first of all. Is there anything you want to throw in there, Julia, before I get on a roll here?
Okay, so yeah, no, you're absolutely right to start off with that. But so it is a very exciting role, first off, and it is a real honour to be an ambassador for One Small Town. That said, it does have a multifaceted layer of responsibilities that are all people orientated. So it's about engaging your stakeholders, whether they're the community, whether they're the business owners, and in some cases, whether they're the investors. So there's a whole broad spectrum of people orientated skills that are required to be an ambassador. So it's actually been an amazing experience so far. I've been doing this for about, I don't know, is it 2 years now, Michael? Nearly
I
two
think so.
years.
It's coming up to 2 years.
Yeah, I know. And the time has absolutely flown. And we're growing, not just in size, but in, how we work together. We're discovering every day how we work together, how we make it better. And it's a voyage of continuous improvement for us all. And that's the most exciting thing. And sorry, but it's the best job I've ever had.
You mean after your international high corporate stress level job? Yes, I can understand.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So what I'd like to add here as well is that keep in mind, everyone watching this, that this has never been done before. We're doing something that's never been done before. We can't look at corporate structure and corporate experience and community experience and all that, because One Small Town is all of those things thrown together in one pot, stirring it up and getting the best out of all of the above so that it serves the people and serves the community and serves the investors and serves everybody. If we don't achieve that, if we can't do that, if we can't get that fine balance, then this is not going to work. Well, in principle, it works. In theory, it works. Now we're going to make it work in practice. So that's what we're doing. So even the appointment of ambassadors has become a really tricky thing to do, because the kind of ambassadors that were signing up with us 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, when I first started to call for ambassadors for One Small Town, the kind of people that were signing up then are very different from the kind of people that are signing up now. And we've literally gone through baptism by fire, learning of how to screen and how to profile the people correctly. So when we appoint an ambassador to a country or a town, that they have the right profile, the right character, the right abilities, the right sentiments, the right personalities, the right experiences, and so forth. And it is not a simple thing. I am not a HR person. Julia is far more suited to be HR. In fact, that's what Julia has been doing, right? You've been handling much of the HR screening and profiling the people that are signing up. And tell us some of your experiences, what you've experienced and how you've seen that role and that profile evolve.
So first thing to note is I'm not an HR professional, but because I've had experience in the past of building teams And building a team is not about having the same kind of person all the way through. So just because we're looking for ambassadors with a particular skill set or character set or whatever you might say, doesn't mean that we don't want other people on the team. We need a huge spectrum of skills, personalities, and backgrounds. So although we're talking about ambassadors now, everybody has a role to play in One Small Town. So, yes, I with some other ambassadors who have taken on this role of screening the new ambassadors coming along. We've gone through a bit of a journey, and it's sort of day by day, week by week, we've come, more clarity is arising. The more people that sign on, and the greater view of the world and the experiences that are coming to us, the more clarity we get.
I think it's important to add to that clarity. One of the key things that we are also learning from this is we ourselves are realizing what a serious responsibility it is when you become an ambassador. Because, you know, suddenly you get thrown into the deep end of representing a movement that's grown over nearly 2 decades into what it is now. And we got to make sure, we got to do everything we possibly can to ensure that we get the right people to do the right thing, so we don't trip ourselves up or undermine our own future success. So this is a very serious thing. And just to support what Julia is saying, the profile of the ambassador, the way that we screen the ambassadors today is very different because of our realization how serious and how much responsibility an ambassador actually takes on. So, you know, without spending too much time on this, because we want to talk about more of the launch of how does an ambassador start the One Small Town. So the key thing here is that to be an ambassador for One Small Town, you need to be a very well-balanced individual. And please throw in your contribution here, Julia. So first of all, you need to be a very well-balanced, very centered, very focused individual. You need to be self-sufficient. Ambassador can't be someone who has a 9-to-5 job, because obviously you can't run this as an ambassador. So automatically, because this is we're not paying people. People do this because they love it. They want to do it. They want to be part of One Small Town. And we can't afford to pay the ambassadors all around the world. Not at this stage. That's going to happen as soon as the businesses that are started in the communities start creating profits and turning over, not just necessarily profits, but definitely turning over revenue. So this is a serious role for people who are self-sufficient, who have several incomes, that don't work 9-to-5 or 8-to-5 or 6-to-6. Somebody that has got time on their hands and wants to do something good for themselves and for the world. And Julia is the perfect example of this. And several of our senior ambassadors are the perfect example of this. So that's the first thing I need to throw out there. So, you know, if you are in a position that you have residual income coming in and you're bored and you want to do something good for the world, you have vast experience, you have the right kind of character, you understand business, you understand management of people, and you are a problem solver, you know how to solve situations and solutions and come up with answers for situations, and have a vision and very much an entrepreneurial kind of mind. It does, I believe, require in many ways an entrepreneurial mind. And I've noticed, for example, that some of our ambassadors that are really stepping up, especially the latest and the newest ambassadors that have joined us, are all very entrepreneurial in their outlook and their mindset, in what they're doing right now and how they want to bring that to the One Small Town activity under the One Small Town umbrella. Do you want to anything there, Julia?
No, absolutely. And it's not just about having Michael alluded to the fact that I had a corporate background. It's also being able to see what's happening around you as well. So I think, you know, particularly in the last three years, we've all had a different perspective as what's going on in the world, which if you're here, none of us probably like, but also what's happening locally in our communities. How haven't we been served by, you know, the establishment, which is why we're putting together something completely new, completely different, but having that ability to look around you and see what's needed, you know, in your locality is also very important. If I'd been doing this job 4 years ago, I wouldn't have had that perspective. I would have just had a corporate hat on to do this. So I've grown by doing this job as well. So so it's not one skill set, it is multiple skill sets and it's the ability to transfer those skills into the role.
Yeah, that's really key, which is a multiple skill set. As an ambassador, you have to be able to multitask. You have to be able to understand a lot about many things, and preferably someone with experiences in diverse things, not someone who's had a desk job all their life and suddenly has no life experience. Generally, we find that the people that are really shining as ambassadors are people that have done many different things and have residual income from those things, because the more things you do in life, the more experience you have. It's as simple as that. Yeah, you are the sum of your experiences. So the ambassadors that seem to shine really well are the ones that have done many different things. And I guess Julia is such a wonderful example. So problem solving, identifying opportunities. That's one of the key things here for ambassadors, to understand what the opportunities are in your community. So at this stage, I guess we're switching over into what are the roles of the ambassadors? What are the responsibilities? What is an ambassador supposed to do, right? Are we going into that part of this
I think so, yes. So, first off is to have the ability to be able to build awareness within your local community, be able to analyze what's going on around you. So some of our ambassadors are town ambassadors, and they've come to us because they are well aware that there are, particularly, with the way the world is going, that their local town is missing services, is missing, products, is missing shops in my case. And people are, the whole area has gaps in it that we can take and turn it into an opportunity.
I think it's important, just while you mentioned something critical there, Julia, is you mentioned town ambassador or local ambassador. So maybe we should also just specify that we have two different types of ambassadors. So we have a national ambassador or a country ambassador. There will be someone that is the contact person, the go-to person for people and towns and who want to start one small town in their community, in their town. They would then contact their country ambassador, who works with us all the time, who is informed and has also the capacity to inspire, to identify opportunities and so forth. So it's not always me or Julia or some of our members that are running one small town internationally. So your country ambassador should be the kind of person. So if you want to be a country ambassador, you should be the kind of person that's managing from a CEO kind of level, to be able to inspire, to motivate, to give ideas and suggestions, to identify opportunities, and help then the local town ambassadors who become the hands-on activists. They become the activators of one small town in their community, to help inspire them, motivate them, identify opportunities, suggestions, and so forth, and solve problems when they arise. So that's very important. So now what happens when you get appointed as an ambassador to a town that you've applied, and we've profiled you, we've looked at your credentials, and we think you're the right kind of person. We appoint you as the ambassador. What happens next? Julia.
Okay. So what happens next is, first off, is about building the awareness. What is one small town, and who is, who is a supporter of one small town who wishes to become a member?
So the awareness in your community, the awareness in your town, right? In
your town, yes,
or building the awareness. You can and you should use all the local media at your disposal. So local radio, local newspaper, local television, local community leaders, local gatherings, local churches, town halls, etc. Use all the means that are available to you to get the message that one small town has arrived in your community. You're the ambassador, and you're bringing members or people that are interested to become members of one small town. And we're going to sign up. You sign up the members. You sign up your agents, who also have the capacity to sign up more members, and you grow your membership while you share the philosophy and the vision of what one small town is going to bring to your community, and why it is so critical to unite the community. In many ways, I need to say here, Julia, is that we need to constantly remind people why we're doing this. Why is one small town becoming such an attractive go-to initiative for people around the world? is because more and more people are realizing that the future looks very bleak. That individually, as an individual, most people are very worried about their future. Most people are worried about their job security, their food security, the education for their children, their healthcare. Can I afford to have an operation if I need to? Will I have food at the end of the week or at the end of the month? How do I support my family? What happens if I get fired, if I lose my job, and so forth? So people are under constant stress, mental and emotional stress, worried about the future. That's why people are turning to One Small Town, because it provides a solution. And the way it provides solution, it takes the people away from their loneliness, from their own lonely concerns about themselves, and realize that you're not the only one out there. Millions of people feel like you. Millions of people are unhappy with the way the world is going. Millions of people are worried about the future of our towns, our cities, our countries, of the world. And that's what brings us together. So it's important to realize that united, we stand strong, and united, we can prosper and create abundance and prosperity. If we stand alone and divided, we are constantly going to, that's not a situation for solution. It's not a solution for success.
No. So
we've got to unite our communities, unite our people, and that's the success of our communities comes from the unity and the vision, the cooperation and the collaboration that we implement under the One Small Town initiative.
So I'm going to pick up on one of the words you said there. You said the word solution.
Yes.
So a lot of the correspondence I get are people that have noticed all of the things you said, that are worried about, food, jobs, etc. And there are loads of groups that are sympathetic to these causes. But what they don't have is the solution. They may start off and say, let's go and try and club together and buy a piece of land and grow some food. Or let's try and take on, build a whole new business or whatever that might be. But so many of them have not got the solutions that we have. And that is where building the awareness and bringing these people together and drawing these groups in that are already started up is how we've been already successful in sharing what we're doing.
Right.
So that's that point. And the other point is you mentioned the agent, the signing up agent. We'll come to that in a minute, but that's about it's not just being an ambassador. You will appoint a team of supporting people around you to be able to help you move forward, do the jobs, and basically
your One Small Town management team that'll work with you. So
absolutely, yeah. And you'll have local people as well.
So now you've been appointed as an ambassador. What next? So this is where motivational skills and your capacity to bring people together, to inspire them, to motivate, to join, and start finding solutions for our problems. Collectively, together, we find solutions. So first of all, small towns, that's why it's called One Small Town, because we do this in small towns and not cities. And so we call a meeting, even if it's 10 people or 20 people, call weekly meetings, have regular meetings, think tanks. What are we going to do? How are we going to start this? So first of all, the whole idea of One Small Town is that we start our own businesses, that we start as many businesses as we can imagine or find or identify in our town. Businesses that are hands-on businesses that require a lot of labor, so that we manufacture things, we manufacture things that can be sold and turned into money and profits while it helps us and serves our community, whether it's growing food, whether it's packaging the food, whether it's then distributing the food, whether it's building fridges or building furniture or starting a bakery or a dairy, businesses that require people and a whole value chain of activities that needs to supply that business with other products and other components and ingredients, because now that becomes a business of its own that you as the community can start. So you as the ambassador needs to call the people together, call your members together and a town hall meeting and share ideas and have a creative think tank. What kind of businesses can we start? What does the environment around us provide that we can launch immediately and quickly with very little funding or as little funding as possible? So that obviously is the side of the business opportunities. What other businesses can we do? We can build hotels, we can build recreation, we can build a brewery, we can build a cement factory, we can make bricks, etc. Anything that you and your members can come up with is possible. And if you feel you can do it, and your terrain and the landscape of your town is suitable for that. If you live in a mountainous area with forestry and there's lots of trees, and you have the rights to do forestry and chop down trees, then that's a no-brainer. That becomes an obvious business that you can start and put a business plan together for. But at the same time, we need to focus on the things to upgrade and improve and beautify our town. So there are two aspects of this, right? So there's the community upliftment projects, and there's the businesses and the business plans that we need to create to start our businesses. So to start a business takes a lot longer than to organize a bunch of people and go for a walk through the streets and pick up the rubbish. So obviously, you want to say something, Julia?
Well, no, I just wanted to reiterate your point about this is about creating impactful solutions for your town and community. So, for example, the businesses, as you already said, but this is constantly a question I get asked, can I start a coffee stall? You can, but what we're looking at is businesses that create multiple
job opportunities. Put people to work. Businesses that require labor, hands-on labor. That's what we're looking for. Not necessarily service kind of businesses. Like a law firm or a copy or a coffee shop and that. Yes, that'll come. But we need, for the ambassadors and the community needs to realize that we need to put all our people to work. If we have 10,000 members in our town, or even if it's a town of 1,000 members, you need to put the 1,000 people to work every week. So, a coffee shop or a hairdresser isn't going to do that. But certainly processing and packaging food, that'll do it. And now,
or a community restaurant where you've gone through that whole chain of creating the food and the products that go into the restaurant.
Making bricks, and I often talk to especially the small communities out there where there's sand, there's lime, and there's sand, and there's salt, and there's water or salt water. If you can make bricks and make good quality bricks, that's a very immediate solution. And that brings me to another thing very important. So we have different types of businesses. We have what I call the grassroots businesses, or what we call the grassroots businesses, that the community can start virtually immediately with no funding or very little funding, because the resources are available, whether it's water, whether it's mud, whether it's clay or sand or salt or whatever, right? Or grass or trees that need to be chopped down to sell firewood or whatever. So grassroots businesses that require very little funding, if any, that you can start very quickly. Just write the business plan and put it on the One Small Town platform, and let's launch that business. Even if it's a small business, it can grow into a very big business very quickly. The more people you have that need, the more members we have that need to work for 3 hours a week, the quicker that particular business can grow.
And remember that these businesses can be replicated as well. So if you've got a great idea for a particular business, then that can be replicated either across your country or around the world as well. So that's why the business plan is essential. In some places it may need to be adapted for whatever reason, but that is why we are calling for the business plans to be written.
Right. So in a nutshell, that's what the ambassador needs to do, is unite the community, do the PR and publicity, announce the One Small Town, sign up as many members and keep signing up members. And the more activity and the more active you are, the more visible you are in your town, the more people will pay attention and realize, wow, I want to be part of this, right? And so your membership will grow, even if you start with 20 or 50 people, that's fine. So while we have on the one side, we have the businesses, and keep in mind that the One Small Town platform and blockchain, IT platform and blockchain is where everything happens. Okay. We'll do a separate video about that. So we're going to suck down that rabbit hole, because that's a huge subject on its own. So everything happens on the OST IT platform and blockchain. The registering of the members, the issuing of the businesses or registering of the businesses, the the accounting, the project management, and that's what unites the One Small Towns around the world. So just so you understand why that platform is so important. The One Small Town platform and blockchain is what unites every one small town around the world. And the benefits of that will be discussed in a separate video. So now you come up with as many business plans as you can in your community. Find the people that know how to write business plans, because this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks that we have come across. I was always under the impression that everybody knew how to write a business plan, because I know how to write a business plan. I'm a self-made guy. I've hardly had a bloody corporate job in my life. So I've always had to drive myself and write business plans and find money for this and do that and that, right? So I was quite taken aback when I realized that people just don't know how to write business plans. So part of what we are doing is putting the solutions or the systems in place to help people write business plans. But until that is ready, please, as an ambassador, your role and responsibility is to find members in your community that know how to write business plans, and start with the small ones. Start with a small grassroots project so you don't try and jump into the deep end, right? Write small business plans that we can launch quickly, that you can launch quickly through the One Small Town platform, and start the people working. Get them excited that they've got something to do and they've created a business of their own that they are 60% owners of. Or actually, in this case, if the community funds the project, that means the community owns 90% of the business, right? The 10% is retained for the One Small Town management in the town and the international office, just in case you're wondering what happens to that 10%. So anything you want to add to that part of the business plans things, Julia?
I'm just going to clarify your write a small business plan. I'm going to reiterate again, because people get confused. When you say write a small business plan, it still needs to be impactful and create lots of jobs. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And the reason I say that is because we get so many inquiries about the one-man band businesses.
Yes.
So,
right.
And you're absolutely right.
Point.
We really will delve into the business model in a spotlight, and what happens to the 10%, etc., and the 90%, and also the platform, which has really been something that has helped us develop and come together all the skills, bring together all the skills. So that has been a real godsend to us, the OST platform. So yeah, we'll do another spotlight on that.
So what this now brings us to the community upliftment project, right? So there are two parts of what the One Small Town initiative does. We start as many businesses as we can, from the little ones to the very large ones. It'll grow into the large ones. Unless obviously we find somebody that says, hey, here's $50 million. Let's put up a huge pharmaceutical lab that packages natural medicines. I said, excellent, let's do that. Right, so that can happen. In fact, it will happen. So, and on the other hand, we have the community upliftment projects, which is absolutely critical. So one of the key things, and probably the first things that you as an ambassador need to do, is call your group together, call your members together, and start brainstorming and planning, what are we going to do to uplift our town? Something that's start with the simple things like picking up rubbish, or and depositing glass and plastic into separate places. Start to separate the rubbish in your town, in your community, so it can become recyclable and so forth. So think out of the box. Find solutions for problems that are obvious and right in front of us. The key thing why the upliftment projects in your town are so important, because those are the projects that really get the people around the world excited. When they see you with your One Small Town t-shirt and 100 or 200 people or 20 or 30 people walking around, picking up rubbish and cleaning up the parks, mowing the lawn, cleaning the swings and the entertainment stuff for the kids in the park. When people see that, they get very excited, because it makes them feel and makes them yearn for being part of a group of people that take care of their own environment, take care of their own town. And in many ways, when people around the world see you and your members of One Small Town in your community cleaning up your town, making your town beautiful for tourists and visitors and passers-by, making your town beautiful, that pulls a lot of heartstrings, often a lot more than say, oh, we started $100 million business selling, brewing beer. People go, okay, well, that's fantastic. that they get more emotional, more excited when they see you and your members of One Small Town helping the orphans, helping the aged getting driven to do shopping, or helping them to knit socks or whatever it is, right? So think about it very clearly. Have your meetings, strategic planning, and out-of-the-box thinking, creative strategic meetings with your members, and come up with the projects, the community upliftment projects. Start small and then grow them into bigger projects as time goes by. That's absolutely critical.
There are some really simple ones as well, beyond the ones that you said. There are excess food everywhere. I was contacted the other day about farmers who have to throw away half of their vegetables. Half get sold to the supermarkets and half they don't know what to do with. Surely we can
and this happens
utilize
in all countries. Farmers have food, and if they can't sell it, it literally goes to waste. So find your local farmers, explain what you're doing to them, create a good relationship and a bond with your local farmers. They might be your saving grace in the future, in the very near future. Contact the local supermarkets that sell retail food, because they throw away a lot of food. The moment it expires, they throw it away. They're not allowed to sell it if it's expired. So all of these opportunities are there for us to take. And this is why the ambassador has to be a problem solver and a thinker, out-of-the-box thinker, to realize that, yes, we can get food from the retail food supermarkets and so forth. We can get food from the farmers and so forth. One of the cornerstones of the community upliftment projects is to set up your own food kitchen. This is almost like become my mantra and my first point of departure. Find a way, find a venue, a place or a hall, a deserted hall, or a hall that the municipality gives you, or somebody that has a deserted hall on their farm or on their land, and turn that into your One Small Town community kitchen. Then find the food that you can use to cook at least one good meal a day for your members, because that then becomes one of the benefits that your members get immediately, especially the people that are down and out. And this applies no longer just to third world countries. This seems to apply to all countries. There are down and out and poor people all over the world now, which is almost unimaginable, that some of these wealthy first world countries have poor and hungry people that live in the small towns. So your One Small Town kitchen will become the place to go for your members once they've completed their 3-hour tasks, whether it's every week or every day. Keep in mind that your members have the option to contribute a minimum of 3 hours a week or a maximum of 3 hours a day. And your community kitchen will be the central, motivational factor for many people to decide, well, I got nothing to do for 3 hours. Let me go and contribute 3 hours to my One Small Town as a One Small Town member. When I'm finished there, I go to the One Small Town food kitchen and get a nice plate of food, plus your Infinity token at the same time. So instead of wasting your day away, sign up to one of the projects, go do your 3 hours, go and have a lovely plate of food, get your Infinity token in your digital wallet. If you don't know what that means, you'll find out in follow-up videos. And now, instead of sitting around and wasting my time, I've done something. I've made my town beautiful. I've got a plate of food in my stomach, and the ambassadors and your members, the project managers that work with you in your management, One Small Town management team, can set this up as a morning session and an afternoon session. So your One Small Town food kitchen can provide a meal at lunchtime and another meal sort of late afternoon when the people have finished the afternoon session. So that's in essence what I like to say without laboring this too much. The responsibilities of ambassadors, how to organize yourself, how to sign up members, how to inspire members, organize town hall meetings, go talk at the church gatherings, whatever. Use the radio, use the local newspapers, get the people together and start doing something. The moment you start doing something, that will inspire other people to join you, especially once they realize what the long-term benefits are, the short, medium, and long-term benefits are of being a member of One Small Town.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add to that, Julia?
No, but a lot of this information, you mentioned tokens, so we'll also do a spotlight on the tokens. But there, in the meantime, there are many videos and links on the website, which is onesmalltown.org, including the job role of the ambassador too.
Excellent. So we look forward to doing our next One Small Town Spotlight video. In the meantime, share this with everybody and see you on the other side. Bye for now.
Bye for now.